All right, Facebook, give me 1 second. What's going on Twitch and YouTube? I already know you guys are straight. Y'all gonna see it's public, it's live. Let me make sure before I start talking. Give me a second. I want to say it's already live, but let me make sure. We make it public. We make it public. All right, my bad about that, everyone. Welcome to another episode of All In with Nate. We are covering the mock draft. Continuing to cover the mock draft today, we finally got past all the 18 non-playoff teams. Woohoo! No, that's a terrible cheer. I know. But today we're going to talk about the wild card teams. And actually, today I have a guest with me. One of my bros. We play Madden together. We do a lot. We chop it up a lot. He's a big time Washington football fan. Um, he's gonna get on here. He's gonna talk about his boys. We'll talk about a couple other teams. We're not gonna cover everybody that's in the wild card that lost in the wild card round. We're gonna talk about, as you probably seen in the title, the Washington football team. We're gonna talk about the Colts. We're gonna talk about the Titans, and we're gonna talk about the Chicago Bears. But before I just add them on, let me see. Let's go. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? Welcome back. Welcome back. Jordan, what's going on, man? He's checking in. But let me go ahead and add my bro in without further ado. Let me add him to the stream. We add him to the stream, guys.
Hey, how
Bro,
y'all
what's
doing?
up, man?
What's up, bro?
What's
Um,
going on?
Nothing. Just a little introduction for myself. My name is Devon. I'm big time, well, actually diehard Washington fan. Got to be politically correct nowadays. You know what I'm saying? No more Redskins or racial slurs like that. Pretty much, it's my passion. What I love to do. Talking about sports, specifically my team. Um, just that's also what I'm in school for right now. Going to Old Dominion. Go Monarchs. So yeah, and our quarterback, he goes to ODU, about to graduate from there. So it's another plus for us too as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got the honor of being the very first guest on the podcast. How you feeling? How you feeling?
I feel great. Feel great getting back into my zone. It's not my first rodeo with podcasts, but hopefully, our chemistry can mesh and we can go from there. So yeah,
All right. All right. Everybody that you hear, his name is Devon Brown. He's a big time Washington football team fan. I can't call him the Redskins today.
Washington.
Unfortunately, we can't call them the Redskins. But we're gonna start off by talking about the Washington football team, and I'm gonna let him lead it off. Actually, before I even go into it though, I don't know if you see the comments, my boy Mike Thomas
What's
told
up,
you what's
Michael?
up.
What's up, Michael? How you doing?
And Daniel, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? But back to this topic, I'm gonna go ahead and let bro cover his Washington football team, and I'll piggyback off of what he talks about.
All right. So first, kind of before we really go to the draft, there's a couple things I wanted to discuss before that because free agency, we're coming up on it right now. Within the next week, that's when free agency really is about to start, buzzing, and players are gonna go everywhere, left and right. And also for us, specifically speaking, free agency is actually going to affect our draft and who we get in the first round. So before we get into it, Alex Smith just got released, came back, was comeback player of the year, had an amazing, well, I'm not going to say an amazing season stat wise, but, for the injury that happened for him to come back and, even with our defense helping us carry us to the playoffs, it's an amazing feat that not a lot of quarterbacks or anybody really would be able to come back from or be able to do. But unfortunately, we did have to release him. It was mutual. It wasn't like, we just pushing him out. It was a mutual respect thing. But that increased our cap space from 30 million to 54 million. So from there, we're going to go talk about key players that we need to bring back, key players that are going to be gone, and then we're going to go into the first round. So Alex Smith gone, like I said, released our 54 million in cap space. We had the fourth most in the NFL. We're gonna need to re-sign Brandon Scherf to. We're gonna put him on the franchise tag with the hopes of signing him long term. There's other pieces that we need to handle first before we sign him long term. Even though I personally, he's been our best lineman since we we drafted him. He's been the most consistent, even though he's had a couple of injuries here and there. He's still been a consistent guard. Probably would be a Hall of Famer for our team. Ryan Kerrigan is not going to come back. I'm sorry. He's been a workhorse for us for years. An Iron Man of the team. Barely was injured. He's our sack leader next to Dexter Manley. But we're gonna have to let him go. Ronald Darby, he had a solid year, even though he didn't have any interceptions this year. We signed him to a 1-year deal. Still managed to be somewhat of a difference for us. He had 55 total tackles, two forced fumble recoveries. 16 pass deflections. Cam Sims, he stepped up as a number 2 receiver this year due to Kelvin Harmon tearing his ACL in the beginning of the season. Who, when we drafted him, people was calling him the baby Julio. He's supposed to be coming back next season, so we're going to see what he does, whether he's going to be our wide receiver 2 or he's going to be a sub wide receiver coming in. He had a roller coaster second year. He had drop passes, but he still emerged and he did come up big some plays, especially at the Steelers game. He had that catch at the end of the game that really sealed that win for us. Dustin Hopkins, he's a somewhat accurate kicker. He's going to be a free agent, but we may re-sign him. It's still up in the air on him. But as far as our free agency targets, quarterback. Just signed Heineke to a 2-year deal after his playoff game. Me personally, I felt like that one game doesn't do him this justice. I feel like he needs a little bit more time. I feel like he does deserve a chance to compete as a starter. But as far as free agency, we need more competition in the QB room because right now it's just going to be Steven Montez, the quarterback that we had undrafted. Heineke and Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen. If we decide to bring him back as well, he's a exclusive restricted free agent, which means that he's going to be coming back under a 1-year deal unless we decide to sign him long term. He's coming off of an injury, so we're going to see how it goes. But in free agency, quarterback Jameis Winston, backup for New Orleans. He still has that talent. He still has the drive to get it done. If we decide to bring in a veteran quarterback, Fitzmagic, you guys, if sports fans.
Hey, bro, quick question. You got a question from Twitch. About to let you see it.
Hey, Devon, how's it going, bro? Do you feel like Washington gave him Alex? That's a hard question. I don't necessarily feel like we gave up on him too soon. Personally, for me, I didn't even really want him to come back. One, because if you look at it, Alex Smith was always known to be a mobile quarterback, get out the pocket and scramble. But he can't do that now, with his leg. Even towards the end of the season, that leg was giving him problems, which is why he had to sit out the playoff game in the first place. So I feel like he needs to start somewhere else if he does want to still be a starter. Because we do have youth in our team. We have a lot of youth in our team, which is honestly, I feel like why we let him go in the first place. Same thing with AP last year, or the reason why we gave up AP is because we have a lot of youth, and you guys have seen what Antonio Gibson has done. He had his monstrous game against the Cowboys Thanksgiving Day. He's that workhorse for us, So I don't think we necessarily gave him up too soon. Wherever he decides to go, I'm sure they'll use him in the way that he needs to be used. In my personal opinion, I just wish he would have retired and then, he would have been like a QB coach for us, still be a mentor for the young QBs that we have. But, I don't think we necessarily gave him up too soon. But Fitzpatrick, back to what I was saying, I'm sorry, that was a good question. Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic, he had his good games, his bad games. He's been up and down with different teams. He's like a journeyman. I don't necessarily want him on the team, but push comes to shove, he would be a cheap option for us. Tyrod Taylor, it'll be a hometown pick. He went to Virginia Tech, came out of there. He's from the 7-5, where I'm currently located right now, 757, which is the Hampton Roads area in Virginia. He would be somewhat of a good option. Be able to get out the pocket, mobility. Accuracy is kind of a concern, but other than that, he would be someone, again, who would be a cheap pickup for us, someone we have to spend a lot of money on. The biggest one that I've seen that the biggest rumor that I've seen, Cam Newton. Cam Newton, Patriots quarterback from last season, had a rough year. He got benched multiple times in that season. Honestly, I just don't really think he was a good fit for that system. But, everybody's saying he should come back because we've been bringing a whole bunch of former Panthers players to the team, and maybe he could rejuvenate his season. Don't know if he would necessarily do that with us. I mean, we do have good receivers surrounded us, and if we do pick up a quarterback in free agencies like Newton, we will probably go for wide receivers in the draft to help him out. But I personally wouldn't want Newton. I don't think he's washed up. I just don't think that he would necessarily be successful for us. Man, get out here with that Cowboy stuff, man. I don't want to see that here, man. Mariota, even though I don't think we're gonna get Mariota because there were rumors we're gonna trade for him. He would actually be a beneficial pickup for us. He's able to get out the pocket, maybe rejuvenate his career like Tannehill did, leaving from Miami to go to Tennessee, and you see what he's doing there. He's mounted a lot of success, although he does have Derrick Henry to carry that team as well. Going towards, I like Washington drafting Trey Lance. Y'all have a young team when I get a young quarterback so they can all go together. I do like Trey Lance coming in. He is a promising prospect coming out of North Dakota State. Came out of the same college as Carson Wentz. I feel like he could. He can make some noise for us if we did draft him, but we would have to trade up for him. I don't see him slipping to 19. There has been mock drafts where we have traded up to get him. Don't know necessarily what we have to give up, but I would like him if he did fall to 19. As far as wide receiver help, Galladay, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Curtis Samuel, those are really the only three targets that we have left. I would like Galladay. Galladay is a true number one receiver, or he could be a true number two receiver next to McLaurin. It's like a change of pace because McLaurin, he doesn't necessarily have the height like Galladay does, but he does still have McLaurin still has the speed and be able to make moves, make catches in open space, and just take off for us. He's a 1,000-yard receiver in his second year. The sky's the limit for him. Juju Smith-Schuster, same thing with him. He's a big body physical receiver. Y'all see when he's done with Pittsburgh. I'm sure he can do the same thing on another team. But I don't necessarily see the Steelers letting him go. Curtis Samuel, I honestly love this addition if we do decide to get him. He torched us in the game that we played this year. Both because he's a dual threat, whether in the slot, outside, or he can run the ball if needed. So, honestly, if we did pick up Samuel, I see us dropping McKissick or trying to, trade him just for the fact that Samuel can do both of those things. Tight end, Logan Thomas, emerged. Although he is turning 30, he was up there as far as a true number one tight end. He was out there for 93% of the snaps. Like I said, him turning 30 is the age factor. Although we did have Vernon Davis, for my Washington fans out there, we had Vernon Davis, who he did come in late in his age, late in his career, but still put up amazing numbers for us. So as a factor, as a low, because we're going to lose Jeremy Sprinkle. Jeremy Sprinkle's our backup. We're going to probably lose him to free agency. So pickups for him would be Tyler Eifert, Josh Hill, Virginia Commonwealth University graduate Mo Alley Cox, which the Falcons, y'all had him before. So, we'll see how that goes. He's a big body tight end, and Jacob Hollister. Those are all cheap additions. But and also another main target, O-line, Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers, as well as Mott Filer. Those could be good additions for us. Linebackers, John Bostic, Cole Holcomb. I'm trying to speed this up a little bit. Matt Milano, Jayon Brown. Those are two good additions that we have just in case, we need more veteran experience in the locker room. John Bostic is supposed to be coming back, but he's also turning 30, so that could also be a problem as far as injuries and staying healthy. And Reuben Foster, I don't know what we're going to do with him, honestly. We keep keep bringing him back, and he hasn't touched the field since we've gotten him. So I honestly don't know what we're going to do with him. As far as safeties, Cam Curl really emerged this season. He was a steal, in my opinion, a 7th-round gem out of Arkansas. Really came up big for us late in the season. Even early on in the season, after Landon Collins got hurt, he was a solidified starter. He didn't even look like he was a rookie out there. So if we need to find a new true safety, Troy Apke, he has speed, but he can't cover to save his life. So if we were to pick up another safety, I would say Marcus Williams from the Saints. He's going to be a free agent if they don't re-sign him. Anthony Harris from the Vikings, same thing with him. Or Trey Boston from the Panthers. That same Coach Rivera mindset for us. And as far as a corner, Fabian Moreau can't stay healthy. We do need depth. So Troy Hill and Desmond King II, those would be good enough additions for us as well. But we're going to the draft. Like I said, those free agency pickups, those would affect our draft prospects. And I've gotten a few. I've gotten a few draft sites or that had mock drafts from mostly recently this week, just so that it wouldn't be like outdated, because it changes every week who we would decide, and also because the combine is coming up, it'd be the same thing. So for us, if we decide to go offensive tackle, the main one that I've seen is Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech offensive tackle. The big body tackle would be amazing for us. I'm not going to say he's like Trent Williams, but he could have that type of factor that he had on the team. And we all know Trent Williams is probably the number 1 tackle in the league next to Bakhtiari from the Packers. So he could definitely be something for us, next pairing up with Sheriff. So that'd be good for us. SB Nation, they said that we were going to draft Jalen Waddle if we don't decide to go wide receiver in free agency. Jalen Waddle would be an amazing pickup. Hopefully he falls to 19. For us Washington fans, he's another Alabama player coming in the first round. You guys have seen what Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, what they've done in on that defensive line for us. They're actually the top 2 run-stopping defensive tackles in the league. So, another Alabama player like Waddle with this speed and athleticism, he could get open in space for us, especially with McLaurin on the other side. Let's see, Pro Football Network, they decided that we would get Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. From Notre Dame.
You're all right, because I mispronounced it on 2 or 3 different shows.
Yeah, so Jeremiah Owusu, he will be coming from Notre Dame. He'd be a great outside linebacker or inside linebacker for us, whatever we decide to use for him. Great depth, great athleticism, great strength to get on the outside. Definitely would be good for us. We did let go of Sean Deion Hamilton from Alabama, so he would be a good replacement for him. Just to make that line even more ferocious, and he can also get in the pass coverage as well. Draft Wire, they said the same thing. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I wouldn't be mad if we also get Zaven Collins from Tulsa. He's pretty much the same type of player. He can play the edge. He can play linebacker. Amazing in pass coverage. Chad Reuter from NFL Network, he said that we were going to trade up with New England in number 15 to get Waddle. Makes sense. Yeah, that's a dog. And North Dakota linebacker is a joker. Yeah, that man. I feel like whoever gets him that's gonna be he's gonna make an instant impact. And Walter Football, the last. If we decide to go the corner route, I've seen a lot of these on a lot of mock drafts as of recent. J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, good additional pickup. He's a 6-foot corner. He could play in the slot, big, physical, can make plays if we need it. Anything just to bolster up our defense. But as far as the first round, that's what I honestly think we would get. And I wouldn't be mad if we get any of these players. So, yeah. Is there anything else?
All right. Yeah, you did a solid job, man. You kind of touched on a lot of notes that I had. My draft needs for you guys were the quarterback, linebacker, corner, and receiver. So you touched on a lot of it, and just to even add to your mock draft, because I'm not even going to go into my notes about it because you did a great job covering your boys. But I went to CBS Sports. Ryan Wilson had you guys also taking Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. Steve Trapasso had y'all taking Elijah Vera Tucker, the tackle out of USC.
Yeah, that's because Darisaw, like we're gonna see after the draft, but I mean
Yeah.
at the combine. But I feel like Darisaw, if he does have a good combine, he's probably gonna go early, probably in the top 10.
And
So
Josh Edwards had you guys take your Georgia product, Tyson Campbell. I like Tyson Campbell for you guys. He's a big corner, but he didn't really get a chance to shine like he needed to at UGA, but he's going to be a good corner in the league. Just putting that out there. And Pete Prisco has you guys taking Rondale Moore out of Purdue.
Rondale Moore, any of them players, I'll take either one of them. Both of them are fast, will get open in space. Rondale Moore, he could play in the slot if we decide to not get Curtis Samuel. If honestly, I would if Rondale Moore just so happens to slip into the second round, which I highly doubt, but if he just so happens to slip into the second round, we draft Waddle and Moore. McLaurin, Waddle, Moore, that for any QB would love to be in that situation right there.
Yes, sir. Okay. So we done talked about the skins. Let me catch up on these comments real quick. Starting off with Castro. Castro said Washington's not doing anything this season. I need the Cowboys to get their act together before you start talking about other teams.
Exactly, bro. Y'all
with the worst defense in the league.
Y'all put all this money into your quarterback, and the only person who won that contract was Dak. Because with the no trade clause, no cut clause or whatever, he's getting all that money guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? He's getting all that money guaranteed.
Dad said, "Go Colts." All right, I'm gonna talk about you. We're gonna talk about you guys soon. Castro, go play Madden.
Exactly.
Play Madden with this coming.
Y'all say the same thing every year, bro. Y'all need
every year.
Maybe we'll talk about y'all heading to the Super Bowl. Actually, get a better defense, and maybe we'll talk about y'all going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Shout out to my Pink Pine Princess. Okay. Shout out to my cousin again. I say this every episode that she tuned in. Follow her on YouTube. She has a lot of great fishing content. You can check a lot of her good stuff out. Let's see. Kendrick Harper said, "Boy, to be on ESPN." I absolutely agree. He did a great job. Absolutely outstanding job.
Hey, that's the goal. That's the goal right there, man.
Yes, sir. DJ Antoine, shout out to my favorite DJ on Twitch. Shout out DJ Antoine. Said you brothers know your stuff. I love it. Appreciate that, man. Jordan said excellent input. Hey, man,
I appreciate it, man. Look, this the grind I'm trying to go for. This is what I live for right now.
Yes, sir. Desmond said Colts to the Super Bowl. Okay, I don't know about that, but
you got to make sure Carson Wentz stay healthy on that one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all's defense is good, but Carson Wentz, you got to make sure you stay healthy.
I forgot all about Carson Wentz that fast. But I'm glad you mentioned it because we're going to talk about them next. But on to the Chicago Bears. I'm about to talk about the Bears. My draft needs. Before I talk about the Bears was the weirdest playoff team in the world. Everyone talks about the Washington football team going 7-9 in that division. This team started 5-1 and finished 8-8 and barely snuck into the playoffs. They lost to the Saints.
Pointing out with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback going 5.
With Mitch Trubisky at quarterback side note. But, another thing, shout out to the Bears. This is their first time having a first-round pick in 3 years. So shout out Bears fans. You're going to finally be back in the first round. But first need I got on here, obvious need is quarterback. First of all, I need one Bears fan to explain to me what did you see in Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes. I do not understand that pick to this day. That pick was a disaster, but I'm going to leave that for another day. Obviously, a quarterback is going to be their top need. That's going to be their top need going into this draft. If they don't come out with a quarterback in this draft, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. Their next need is tackle. Because this is a loaded tackle draft for the Chicago Bears. And I'm sorry, Charles Leno Jr. and Bobby Massey, they're not it. They're just overpaid to give up a whole bunch of sacks, basically. No disrespect to the Bears offensive line, because we don't have offensive line either. But, again, you guys don't have a lot. You guys need to really go deep into this draft and address that tackle. Another position is wide receiver. As you all know, I'm sure Devon knows as well, they tagged Allen Robinson, so they're going to have him back. But I'm sorry, they need a true number 2 receiver to go alongside of him.
Exactly, especially they're going to have Mooney playing slot because even though he's a rookie, it's the same thing Watson. They need a number 2 receiver. So I see them.
Yes, sir.
But I do see them going wide receiver later in the draft. I don't necessarily see them going first round.
I don't see that either. As far as also they need to add an edge rusher because as good as that Bears defense is, You need a consistent edge rusher. And Robert Quinn, side note, thank you, Chicago, for paying him the money that the Falcons would not pay him because he only had 2 sacks last season. I would have rather dealt with our defense last year than to deal with Robert Quinn getting 2 sacks. So Chicago's in a good position where you possibly can find a Gregory Razoo or one of those guys that could sit at 20 and come to you. And an inside linebacker, Danny Trevathan, he's a good linebacker. However, I'm going to be honest with you guys, he was not the same player. But before we get deeper into this conversation, let's catch up on the comments. We want to act like we're ignoring you guys. Y'all been going crazy. We appreciate it, actually, too. Jordan Jake, what's going on, brother? He said, "What's the boys? I see y'all. Salute, man." Let's see. Big Dog Scully said, "Just throw the whole Bears franchise in the trash."
Hey, but look though, the Bears they trying to trade for Russ. Even though Seattle's not necessarily they're going to trade for him, but if they can make it happen, if the Bears can make that Russell trade happen, that could change up their whole franchise. Especially and if they're going to go ahead and draft offensive tackles, it can help. Both because they already got the defense. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
They already got the defense. All they need is that line to help Russell stay healthy and he can make the space.
That's true. Dunn is a total set. What's going on, bro? He said the Bears need to go ahead and give Cam Newton the chance.
I wouldn't necessarily hate that. I wouldn't
hate that, but I don't know if the league is ready to give him another chance as a starter, though. I think his days of starting might be over for some reason. I don't know. Let's see.
Him going to the Patriots, that really messed up his career, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Looking back at it, I wouldn't have went there either. Let's see. Jay Lee said no, but y'all boys talking real professional. We appreciate that, man. That's what it's all about. Let's see. Big Dog Scully said he a new head coach. I hate watching Daggy call games. Feel like I'm watching Pop Warner bunch of trick plays. Oh my God, bro! It make me feel like I'm watching Dirk Cutter's offense up in Chicago. Man, disaster. Let's see. DJ Antoine, the Bears fan, definitely. I appreciate your input. He said they definitely need Russ because they're trying to ruin Robinson's career by tagging him. I hope you guys give him a long-term deal because Allen Robinson. I don't know. I've always liked Allen Robinson as a receiver. I don't feel like he's got a chance to shine yet, like he can, because of the quarterback situation in Chicago. So hopefully, getting another quarterback will make that situation better. What you think, bro?
Honestly, I feel the same way. Because the Bears, it's like not to keep bringing it back to my team, but the Bears and the football team, they have a very similar situation. They have 2 true number 1 receivers in my eyes that need quarterback help. You know what I'm saying? They need quarterback help, and they also need wide receiver help. They can't do everything by themselves as far as how elite these defenses are becoming. It's a lot of because like if you look at the Chiefs have Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Byron Pringle, Sammy Watkins. They have a whole bunch of different receivers that help them out. You know what I'm saying? Even looking at Super Bowl teams like the Bucks. The Bucks has won the Super Bowl with 2 top 10, 2 top 15 receivers. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You know what I'm saying? And they picked up Antonio Brown. They have Scotty Miller, a speedster. So it's like taking a pay cut like that's the thing. Like with QBs, they want so much money, but you have to realize Tom Brady would not have 7 rings if it wasn't for the pay cuts that he took to help build around him, which is why I don't necessarily understand that Dallas signed him for that amount of money. But even the Falcons, bro, y'all got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, even though Julio's getting up there in age and rumors about trading him, y'all still have it. There's not going to be a team that just has 1 receiver. It needs 2 solid receivers. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the Bears need that.
Okay, Jordan Chapman said wouldn't mind seeing Cam in Chicago. I wouldn't have minded last year.
Yeah, last year I wouldn't
have minded last year. This year I don't know. Oh God, Big Dog Scully said Devon, you didn't touch on Washington's biggest need. That's a team. Big L. My God.
Hey, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret, okay? The team name one, we're gonna touch on that next year because that's when they said that we're finally gonna change our name. But the only reason why they didn't change it this year or they haven't come up with a nickname is 1, because some dude who was smart as I don't know what, I'm not going to curse, but as smart as I don't know what in my opinion, decided he wanted to copyright every type of combination that, they could have came up with for a different name. And Dan Snyder, he's not going to pay nobody else to come up or to use their name or to give money to that person to, use their name. So they're still trying to come up with the works. A lot of people are coming up with like Red Wolves, Washington Red Wolves, or the Red Hawks, or Red Tails, Washington Warriors. Anything like that.
I vote for Washington Centennials. You know. If I vote for Washington Centennials, let's go.
Man,
let's go with the replacement
movie.
movie.
I like the Red Wolves. I like the Red Wolves. You know what I'm saying? Because they was like our fight song. Having the people in the crowds every time we make a big play. They do the howl, the wolf howl in the background, or how some stadiums they have the noise, the animal noise.
Yes, sir. He knows.
I get that. I get that all the time when I talk about my team. They be like, "Oh, you got to say no name." I'm like, "Hey, look, we still won a division with no names. That's all I got to say."
I'm trying to tell you, man. The Washington Red Honchos. Come on, bro. What kind of name is that? That's hilarious, though, man. Yeah. But to finish the Bears off real quick, CBS Sports has the Bears taking Christian Barmore out of Alabama.
I like that.
Funny story. Chris Trapasso, Josh Edwards, and Pete Prisco has the Bears taking Tevin Jenkins. He's the tap out of Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The school is. Actually, Bleacher Report has him taking it as well. Walter Football has Christian Darrisaw falling to the Bears. So it seems like all of the pundits are on the same page. They got you guys taking an offensive tackle, not a quarterback first. Honestly, you don't really need to go depending on the draft. Because one thing about the draft gets weird. You never know. Somebody who's projected top 10 finds a way to slip. So you might find yourself going to get a guy that you did not see being at, I think they're at 21, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll definitely get a chance to see what happens with those guys. Let's see. On to the next team. Give me a second. We're talking about, I want to say it's the Colts next. Let me make sure. Yep. The Indianapolis Colts. Not going to lie, everyone. I did not see the Colts making the playoffs last year. I didn't see it. They, Phillip Rivers in that group, that dynamic rushing attack. Let me say this side note. You have a dynamic rushing attack when your starting running back was hurt, Marlon Mack, and Jonathan Taylor, who I'm jealous if he wasn't the Falcon, but I'll leave that alone. Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines had to put together a solid rushing attack. They made the playoffs. They nearly beat Buffalo in the postseason. So, also, I didn't even get a chance to touch on this note right here, as Devon mentioned earlier. Going into this mock, I would have said that the quarterback will probably be their top need, but with them trading for Carson Wentz, I think that takes out the equation now of looking for a quarterback. My other needs for him are a tackle, wide receiver, pass rusher, and a corner. Going into the tackle, I don't know if a lot of you know Anthony Castanzo. I just name is
Costanzo.
Yes, Costanzo. He retired this offseason, so they're going to be in the market looking for a tackle, because what they do not want to do is find themselves in an Andrew Luck 2.0 situation where you cannot protect your quarterback and you got to decide to retire on you early. They had a Lions moment. No shot at the Lions. I'm just saying they had a Lions moment. Yeah, okay. Wide receiver. They drafted Michael Pittman out of USC last year, but T.Y. Hilton's getting older. He's 32. That make me feel old. I'm 30, man. Sorry. But he's turning 32, so they need to address their wide receiver core, because as Devon mentioned with the Bears, you cannot be successful in this league without a receiving core. You need receivers, and they don't have receivers that I really trust out there. Also, they need, I said, a pass rusher, because Justin Houston and buddy's name, Danico Autry, are hitting the market in free agency, and this is the perfect draft to go get you a pass rusher, because Justin Houston's getting older. Autry may get money in free agency, so not a guarantee they're going to come back. And also, they need a corner in this draft. Let me be honest, man. Kenny Moore, I'm so jealous of them having Kenny Moore. He's the best slot corner in the league, in my personal opinion. They got to add some outside corners to this team. I would love to see them add, if he's there, like a Caleb Farley, somebody like that at 20. I think, let me make sure. I think they're 21. Y'all forgive me.
Caleb Farley's not.
He's gonna be gone way before then, though.
Yeah,
but
13 not slipping that far.
Yes, sir. Because Xavier Rose is going to free agency. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go to the comments.
He's washed up. He hasn't been good since he was on the Vikings, and even his last year on the Vikings, he wasn't good. He was like Xavier Rose going to the Colts was like, in my opinion, Josh Norman coming to the football team. I despise Josh Norman come like his last couple of years. That was probably like the worst football I've ever seen from a corner, from getting burnt dang near every play to piss poor next to piss poor tackling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm glad that he wasn't on our team when he got stiff arms, humiliated by Derrick Henry. I'm so glad he wasn't on our team, because I just would have made it worse. But go ahead. I'm sorry. That's just a side note. Nate, you froze on me, Nate.
Guys, give me 1 second. I think this thing tried to mess up on us. There you are.
Yeah, froze on me, Nate. What happened?
Look, man, Wi-Fi don't want us to be great out here. Shout out to Xfinity. You don't want us to be great out here, man. You see us putting this great content out. But anyways, you were just talking about what Xavier Rose last season, and you talk about Josh Norman. But just to pick back up, everybody excuse me for the technical difficulties. Xfinity want to see us be great, man. But let's go to Kendrick Harper. What's your opinion on the Texans? I will talk about them another day. I'm getting a headache thinking about them right now. Yeah, so we'll cover them another time.
They trying to put their organization to the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Michael Thomas said just in Mark Ingram signed a 1-year deal with Houston. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
I am so sorry.
Is this official or you just playing? Because
I think he's probably definitely official about it. Tevin, what's going on, bro? He said Mac Jones to the Colts. You think they'll take a quarterback with Buddy there, Carson Wentz?
I mean, unless they're going to draft him to develop him, but I feel like Mac Jones, he would get drafted to be a starter, because they was talking about if we didn't get Trey Lance, then if Mac Jones fell to us, we would probably pick him up in the draft, which I wouldn't necessarily be too mad about either.
Let's see. Don is told Justin Falcons re-signed Young Ho. Cool. We got the Young Ho back. Christian Blake. Oh God. Tyler Hall and Jacob Tuitt Mariner. I like Tuitt Mariner. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad Young Ho's back. I could care less about the other two. Okay. The mock draft has the Colts. CBS Ryan Wilson has them taking Tevin Jenkins here. Chris Trapasso has them taking Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. Ole Miss is having a run on wide receiver. Shout out to him. Josh Edwards and Pete Prisco has them taking Kadarius Toney. He is the sleeper of this class. Side note, everyone, you want to put that out there. Kadarius Toney is the sleeper of this class out of Florida.
That's how I personally want him on our team. If he can slip to us,
I understand.
I'll take it.
I understand. Walter Football has Tyson Campbell going to the Colts. Bleacher Report has Christian Darrisaw going to the Colts. So that covers the Colts today. Now, on to the Tennessee Titans. Titans.
Let me just put this out there real quick.
Go ahead.
Don't know why y'all signed David Clowney. I'm going to just put that out there. Don't know why y'all signed him.
Bro, they signed Clowney and they took Vic Beasley from us as if he was actually producing for us. They gave 2 big contracts. Though both guys didn't do anything. Their first guys, as me and him are starting this off, as the sad part about it is the Titans actually had a really good year on offense last year. Really? I think Derrick Henry ran for over 2,000. Tannehill threw 33 touchdown passes last season. They had a good year. However, their first biggest need is a pass rusher. In 2019, they sacked the quarterback 42 times. Y'all are not ready for how many times they sacked the quarterback last year. They only finished ahead of Jacksonville and Cincinnati in quarterback sacks. They had 19 as a team. Mind you, as Devon just said, they had Jadeveon Clowney on their team. They had 19 sacks. That is embarrassing. That's going to be the number one.
Those who don't know, Jadeveon Clowney was a former number one pick. A former number one pick.
Former number one pick. Awful. Still don't know how he's looking back at it now. That man became the number one pick off that one hit against Michigan. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that hit, he probably would have been later on in the draft. But
yes, sir.
Yeah.
No. But they also have up here that receivers one of their top needs because Corey Davis is actually up for free agency this year. And he had a good year. He actually finally lived up to that pick that he was because I was high on him coming out of college. Last year, he actually had a good year. Almost had 1,000 yards. Let's see. Hold on. Let me look at this comment real quick. Jay said, okay, man, y'all left the SC boy Clowney. Look, that's where he was still the best at. We're being honest. You know we're being honest. Come on now. If he was a Georgia Bulldog player, I would sit there and talk about him like a dog, too, if he's not doing bad. He's not doing good. Side note, Ty Gurley, who's going to be a former Falcon after this season. I don't want you back. Love you at UGA, though. Anyways, C-Man the Great said he missed Clowney. Clowney is a bum. Yikes. Well,
yeah, I mean, he ain't lying.
Yeah,
he ain't lying.
Yeah.
He rejuvenate his season somewhere else because
yes,
he's gonna be asking too much money for doing mediocre.
He said he had one good year with Houston. Yet he did. He snuck one good year. I don't know how you didn't eat with J.J. Watt on the opposite side. That's still gonna be the mystery of the year for me. I just don't understand that myself.
And J.J. Watt going to the Cardinals?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to watching them two together, him and Chandler Jones out there. But Watt, so I said wide receiver, a backup quarterback. This might be a very underrated need for them. A lot of folks may not agree with this need. However, Tannehill is 33. He is coming off a career year, but Tannehill has injury issues. And one thing about it, when you get older, your game may not be the same. And why not? And trust me, I would rather get a backup quarterback in this draft than have Logan Woodside as the backup quarterback. I'm not trying to trust him at all in the event that man gets hurt.
Yeah, I see them drafting a quarterback probably in the later rounds if it's still available.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I also got up here defensive tackle because Daquan Jones is up for free agency. Not sure if they're going to bring him back yet. If they do, this may not be a need that they've had to look into. But if they don't, they could get someone to pair up with Jeffrey Simmons, who is one of the up-and-coming defensive tackles in this league. Let's see. C-Man the Great said, how do you feel for them trading for Jones to help Henry out? Jones who?
Yeah, Jones. Which Jones you talking about?
You got to tell me which Jones you're talking about. Because it's a lot of Jones in this league. But also I have up here linebacker because they got a lot of linebackers up in free agency. Clowney's one of them. Hold on. C-Man the Great said Julio. Trade them maybe on Madden.
Yeah, Madden, I don't know. Because if Julio was going to get traded, they was talking about sending him to the Ravens.
Yeah, if he's going to go anywhere, it's not going to be to Tennessee. Because you're not going to win the Super Bowl next year in Tennessee. But, yeah, linebacker, they got a couple linebackers up. Jayon Brown is going to be maybe a highly sought-after linebacker. He actually surprised me. He was one of the day 3 guys they got a couple years ago. He ended up panning out well for him. But on to the mock draft for the Titans. CBS Sports have them taking – Ryan Wilson has them taking Georgia Bulldog product Azeez Ojulari. Mm-hmm. Chris Trapasso has them taking them, but trading with the Patriots up to 15 to take them. Josh Edwards have them taking Jason Owa out of Penn State. Pete Prisco has them taking Azeez Ojulari as well. Walter Football has them taking Xavier Collins out of Tulsa. And Bleacher Report has them taking Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. Go back to another comment. C-Man the Great said, we don't know that you think – wait. Let me go
back. Know that why you think that they did make it to AFC Championship. They made it because of Henry.
They made it because Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry carried them boys.
Henry carried the whole – nobody wants to tackle a 6'1", over 200-pound quarterback like that. Nobody wants to tackle
him, man.
Exactly. Nobody – that's a whole – if they didn't have Derrick Henry on the team, then I honestly don't even see them making the playoffs. it would be very hard for them making the playoffs without Henry, in my opinion. Because,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, you got Tannehill receivers, but without that run game, they run the ball about 20, 30 times a game. And that's pretty much what got them to win.
Tampa will. Tampa's a whole different monster from Tennessee.
Tampa's a whole different
But everyone, we covered the 4 teams we were going to talk about today. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We've had a big audience here today. I want to thank all 3 platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Devon, you did an outstanding job. I enjoyed having you on here. I'm going to have you back.
Man. Appreciate you.
You're definitely going to be back on here. So until next time, everyone, you have a good day, and we will talk to you another time. We may have another one coming up soon because I got to talk about 4 more teams, but free agency's coming up too. So got a lot of news coming up real soon. So
free agency definitely going to be big starting next week. Teams actually starts on the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, and then teams going to be flying. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some big names that's going to be on a different team starting on that first day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. But everyone, again, have a great day. And thank y'all for tuning in, man. Really appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for showing the love. For real.